And welcome back, ladies, gentlemen, Gungans, droids, all you chaotic moody coneheads out there. Come on in. Step into my office, people, because let me tell you, we got an AHN alert, folks. And when I'm saying AHN alert, you know what it means. It means Arnold HoloNet News has something that you need to know. Hope your weekends are going well, people. Come on in, plenty of room. And the biggest and deadliest Star Destroyer, aka the Kraken, people. I just got word from the bowels of our community that it's looking like there's a new character right around the corner. It's been kind of fitting into my theory that I've been having ever since the announcement of Galactic Legend Ahsoka has been going down a few months ago. People, let's get chit-chatting. Come step it over to my office here inside of the Galaxy of Heroes bowels. Few things we're going to talk about. It looks like a new character's coming. My guesstimation is going to be associated with Ahsoka Tano. Spoiler, I think it's the newest Sabine, as we're going to discuss momentarily. Also, we got our first teaser of Balon Skull's kit. And the question is this the week where the kit reveal is going to drop now? That is usually a pattern. And then thirdly, in case you missed it, developers addressed the Punishing One versus Leviathan situation. And I got a few thoughts to share in it. So let's first start up with this little doodad right here, Sabine Wren. Let me first show you where this is all coming from. So SWGOH events in their data mines. Here, where the heck are you going, man? Just sometimes you make things a lot more complicated than it needs to be, I guess. Anyways, taking a look at the possible new packs that are right around the corner. As you can see, folks, we have a character bundle 73. And as people know, that usually means there's a new unit right around the corner. We just had a ship. I'd be surprised if it's gonna be another ship. Last time, we only have 2 ships this year. And somehow they screwed up the... We'll talk about it in a little bit. If you guys remember, we a while ago we had a character bundle 72. That was, I think, either Morocco or Punisher One. Can't remember the timing of it all. But now we have a character bundle 73. Just one unit coming around the corner, which obviously, yeah, there's gonna be new units coming. But here's the thing. When we look at the Galactic Legend Ahsoka Tano situation, and I know I'm gonna get a bajillion comments. When's the next batch of requirements, Arnold? When's the next batch? Listen, this year's been all about pattern breaking. You know, we expected a capital ship every year. We're not getting one this year, right? And then even so with the Galactic Legend requirements, you know, this has been a pattern breaking year where they're dragging out their requirements for several months. Leia, they dropped like everything at once, basically. And I told you, they even told us that Galactic Legend Ahsoka Tano is not even coming out until after Ezra Conquest unit is unlocked, and that's not until the end of the month, early November. However, the schedule's looking to be like that, and we still have 2 more batch requirements. I suspect we're gonna get a 3rd one soon, but the fact of the matter is, we already have the current requirements that have been baking for a while. I mean, Enoch, Death Peridia, you know, they've been, you know, the Night Trooper as well. They've been in the game for a little bit now, and some of these are already farmable. And generally, if we see, like, especially, you know, more recent Galactic Legends, they kind of like try to squeeze in these marquees as close as possible to the release, so it's difficult to get them day one without spending a little bit of your grandma's 3 wacky number credit card that she has in her purse next to that little annoying yapping dog. Sorry, getting a little carried away right now here. But anyway, point I'm getting at is seeing that the current marquees of Night Trooper, Death Trooper Peridia, and Captain Enoch have been fermenting the game for a little bit now. You really think they're gonna release Galactic Legend Ahsoka Tano? We're still 2 batches of requirements away and not release anything new. People. I wish it was that simple, but I don't think it is. I think this is gonna be a Galactic Legend is gonna require a little bit more marquee action. And when you're looking at the Ahsoka Tano team that's being shaped, we don't know really the full details of what we're to expect out of this team. But my guesstimation is this game likes to kind of, you know, mimic what's going on in Star Wars at large. I think a lot of us can probably assume the team is going to be, well, they already said Ezra's going to be mostly with Ahsoka Tano down the road, but we might find other Jedi uses with this guy. It's probably going to be Ahsoka. It's probably going to be Ezra. And at the very minimum, if there's going to be at least one more marquee character that actually ends up being on the Ahsoka team, yes, Hu Yang would be awesome, I think. I think it's more likely that a Sabine Wren is going to end up here. A Sabine Wren, force capabilities, lightsabers. I mean, that was... you know, the Ahsoka and Sabine, kind of important Padawan apprentice situation going on here, people. So I'm putting my money down. I feel confident that you know, it's either this character bundle 73 or maybe soon after that one. I'm pretty confident we're going to be seeing a Sabine Wren needed for Ahsoka Tano. That's why some of the other day was asking, oh, I'm waiting for Ahsoka Tano. What should I spend my Kyrotech on? I can't remember who it was. You probably will let me know in the comments. They're like, oh, should I spend it on, you know, Grand Inquisitor? Should I spend it on Bo-Katan? And I was like, I don't think you're done with Ahsoka Tano. I think they're at least going to require one more Marquee. Who knows? Maybe each batch moving forward, there's going to be another Marquee for each. It could very well be a Sabine, and who knows? Maybe they throw in Hu Yang. My guess is that this is going to be an unaligned Force user team, but you know, it's hard to say right now. Ezra's only the thing that kind of gives us some indication of what this is going to look like, but there's still a lot to be known. Still a lot to be known moving forward. But nonetheless, I want to let you guys know, if you are someone that's hoarding on Kyrotech and you're feeling your farming hands twitch because you want to upgrade stuff, you might have important stuff to upgrade if you are someone that's gunning to get Ahsoka Tano pretty early on in the farming process. So that's part number one. Let's go to part number two, my friends. Hope you guys are wide awake for this one, because I bet you guys never saw this coming. We have a puzzle that was unveiled this weekend that unveiled to us Balon Skull. It's coming to the game. I mean, I didn't see this coming, people. Jokes aside, we know that they've been doing like these mini puzzles that reveal stuff that we already know. Kind of defeats the purpose of hyping up a puzzle. It gives the people that like doing the puzzle something to do over the weekend, right? I don't want to be the one that kills the fun. Puzzles are a little bit more exciting when it's something you don't know. Like when the puzzles start, I'm like, oh, it's Balon. It kind of defeats the surprise. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, here we go. We have Balon Skull that's showcasing the abilities. Now, the question I have is, are we going to be getting the Balon Skull kit reveal this upcoming week? Because generally when they do a puzzle, the kit reveal happens, the fall after the weekend is completed. That part, I'm not so sure of. I mean, it's a little bit odd that they released the Datacron set for this current one, whatever the heck it's called. They released it a week early. It wasn't supposed to be added to the game technically until later on this week. I was of the theory that, Balon's gonna be more towards the end of the month, because if you go into the game, we see that there were some packs a couple days ago that kind of show they're going to be opening up a lot of these, Great Mother packs, for example, Morgan Elsbeth, Shin, Marat. I was kind of a theory, it's going to be more towards the end of the month, so they want to try to, get a last second push for, payments or, purchases for people that want to, they want to bum rush Balon Skull. They didn't get their requirements met last week, because I'm telling you, they're not going to give us much time to farm Marat and Shin. We know that it's going to be a pretty close cut corner, just like Bo-Katan. You really weren't able to get her for free unless you spent crystals or you bought some stuff last minute here. But we have the new Datacron set, No Mercy. It's a little bit early. It's a mercenary Datacron set, and they told us that Balon's gonna have an exclusive Datacron for himself. So again, point I'm getting at here, we have our little teaser for Balon Skull here, and something interesting to point out. I'm assuming they put the whole kit in front of us here. No unique ability. Check that out. We have a basic. That was a mistake. Special 1, one must destroy. Special 2, power, such as you've never dreamed. Leader, it's all inevitable. But no unique ability. We don't get many characters out of unique ability. And I had to look back. I'm like, maybe they just don't add unique abilities to this, but that's not true. I mean, Morgan Elsbeth, when they did a similar puzzle for her, they showed her unique ability, the unique ability, preordained destiny. So unless they only show 4 things, 4 things here, 4 things here, they don't got room for a 5th thing. I'm not sure what the reasoning is behind it. I'm of the theory that maybe because I think it's pretty obvious Balon's gonna have tags. He's gonna probably have, the mercenary tag. Very much so, he's gonna have the mercenary tag. And furthermore, I think it's gonna have the unaligned force tag. Very much so, like, Shin, Marak, they both have those tags on them. However, I kind of went on a little bit of a criticism about this the other day. Capital Games, they really kind of put a chokehold around the meta. They put us on rails. It's like going to a bowling alley, they put the rails up for us. Or, they send us to school, but they got to make sure they wrap us in bubble wrap, and they put us on our remote control car so we don't deviate from what they want us to do. They really are like kind of controlling where things are going. So although Balon's getting an unaligned force tag likely, they probably don't want him to end up on a Seer Junda lineup, because Seer Junda, she's kind of got a tendency, kind of like Veers did with the Imperial Troopers, and they had to stop that by giving the Imperial Trooper tag, to Dark Trooper Gideon, to the new troopers that were added for the Remnant faction. The list goes on and on and on, and making it so that Iden doesn't really synergize with Imperial Troopers that well if they have leaderships. Anyways, I'm digressing, because Seer Junda's got a similar tendency. When a cool unaligned force user shows up, Seer's like, hey, I got this guy called Malicos. We got a pretty banging team. You want to join us? And I think assuming there's no unique ability, they're probably just loading everything into the leadership So you have no incentive to throw them in any other team. Again, they want to tell us how to use the characters to make, and I think that takes away some of the fun. I could be over analyzing the situation here, but nonetheless, it was something that I was looking. It's like, oh, that's kind of weird because we don't really get. I mean, every legendary issue that we've had, they've had some sort of unique ability, except the only legendary that never got any of that type of love. Oddly enough, Grandmaster Yoda, they just loaded him up with 5 trillion abilities. As you can see, you know, we have our leadership, we have that, you got that, you got that. No unique ability though. Absolutely none that we have. So the question's gonna be, you know, is Balon's gonna follow similar thing? I mean, the last time we kind of had something like that was Bad Batch, you know, a Hunter. You know, that's good. That's again, it's more of an exception rather than the rule. Again, I'd like to say though, it's like, you know, I don't know. People have been playing a lot of other hero collectors right now. It's you know, it's sometimes a little annoying when they kind of dictate. They have to tell us how we need to use their characters. They said this with Marquees. They're like, oh, the reason why we didn't give Marquees the tag, we didn't want people worrying about using it with the Empire. Who are you to tell us that? Let us have the fun with it. It's like, I don't know. It's like, you know, your parents get you a Lego set and they're like, you can't build anything else on these Legos. You need to build the SpongeBob SquarePants pineapple house. If you do anything otherwise, no, we're gonna take the Legos away. It's like, let us have the fun. Give us the Legos. We want to build whatever we want out of Legos. I think that was one of the most fun thing about Legos. You know, you take like a bunch of sets and you make all these cool things out of it. Anyways, Mom and Dad over at Capital Games telling me what to do with my Legos, telling me I gotta go ahead and get Blight 5 million times, and don't you dare forget to use your unaligned force users at 10 billion times. And gosh forbid you didn't have your Gungans for all those feats. Yeah. I'm telling you, it sometimes feels like Capital Games are like being over supervising parents at times. Anyways, getting me a little frustrated right now. I got a third thing for you guys, and boy, if you're frustrated right now, I mean, you shouldn't be. I'm just a little peeved on meta control. I feel like once upon a time we were treated like adults with our Lego sets. Hey, here's Commander Luke Skywalker. You want to put Darth Niles of him? Be my guest. You want to throw Captain Rex and Barris while you're out of Captain Rex or with Commander Luke? Be my guest. Where's those people? I'm getting fired up right now, Gary. All right, I'm done. But I'm not done because we got to now talk about the punishing one. As you guys know, balancing ships is very difficult. They released 2 whole new ships in an entire year. And there's like 3 meta fleets. I mean, that's a lot to ask for. I mean, you got Executor, you got Profundity, and you got Leviathan. I mean, come on. When you're adding a new ship to lift up an Executor, I mean, they have to test that out against Profundity and Leviathan. Don't you guys understand how difficult of a job that? I mean, come on. It took us a whopping 5 seconds to realize that. It probably would have taken them several years to figure that out. Anyways, jokes aside, no, actually not joking. It's kind of embarrassing. It really is. It annoys me. Again, this isn't a game like, you know, I made the analogy. This isn't like a completely free game where it's some dude in his basement. He was eating some Doritos and, you know, a crumb got stuck under the keyboard. He miscoded it, but it didn't cost you anything. You know, you didn't have to pay any money for the DLC. You didn't have to pay any money for the game. This is different. There were people, whether it was from me, whether it's from them, their guilds, whatever that might be, they're seeing that the Executor was doing so well against Leviathan. And I'm not going to get into if that's healthy for the meta. They should have figured that out before they released it. Because when people are spending millions of dollars a month, you know, somewhere between $6-8 million a month for this game, maybe 10 at some occasions out there, you have an obligation to make sure that simple things like making sure Executors performing in line if you're Leviathan are in whatever realm you deem necessary for these guys. Again, they're trying to be over, you know, superficial. They're trying to over supervise what we're doing here. Then do your job. Just do it. It's just 2 fleets. You gotta just take Executor versus Profundity. Okay, cool. Executor versus Leviathan. One battle should have explained it, unless they just don't know how to play ships. I don't know. It could very well be possible. They sometimes forget ships exist. Only 2 ships this year. Anyways, we knew pretty quickly, as we discussed the other day, that Capital Games, once they saw the gameplay in the wild, they're like, oh shoot, this is doing way better than we anticipated. Anyways, they said they're gonna do something about it. It's on the radar. They didn't tell us what until later on Friday evening or afternoon, whatever it was. They had this to publish here, where this is what they said. Let's just read it from the horse's mouth. We have examined the matchups of Executor fleets versus Leviathan fleets in Fleet Arena. While nearly all combinations of Executor fleets perform as expected against Leviathan lose, I gotta say, man, I won most of my match. I don't know. Anyways, okay. There's one particular fleet that is overperforming a specific build of Leviathan fleets. Unfortunately, that Leviathan build is the best counter to Leviathan Mirror Mage. I'm not really following the logic here. I don't understand why do I care what's going on in mirror matches? I don't know. Anyways, when considering our choices of course of action, we are satisfied with how Punishing One is performing in all other battles. I guess profundity, it's like, I don't know. Let me just finish reading this. Due to this, we are currently not planning any action to adjust the Punishing One directly. Okay, let's keep reading. However, the counter to Punishing One in a Leviathan fleet is starting TIE Dagger out in the field. The defense has a win rate much more in line with our expectations, but since TIE Dagger in the starting lineup is detrimental to a mirror match that Leviathans find themselves in frequently, our plan is the buff TIE Dagger to make it the desired unit to bring to a Leviathan mirror match while still being the best counter for Executor. This way, Leviathan owners can still have the win rates they expect against other Leviathans and be the favorite against Executor Punishing One fleets. As for when this TIE Dagger will be changed to TIE Dagger will be implemented is contingent on a lot of factors. Suffice it to say that it will make its way into the game at the earliest possible window. I don't know. This is a weird explanation that they're throwing in front of us, folks, in my opinion. I mean, basically, we need to kind of wait and see what the Punisher One's going to look like against Executor. My expectation is it's not going to be nearly as good as it is currently. You know, I'm getting 3 stars beating Leviathans right now. I'm getting opposite my 7 stars beating Leviathan. And just kind of looking at the meta in general, you know, when we cracked open the Punisher, it was pretty exciting. It's like, oh, wow, this is really good. This is actually kind of useful. Executor, you know, beating, you know, Leviathan. Okay, again, whether it's healthy for the meta is a different story. I'd maybe agree. Okay, maybe Executor maybe shouldn't be beating Leviathan. Maybe. But they should address that before it gets into the game and people spend money. That's my issue. That's all they had to do. Just simply test out their game. But let's assume that Punisher One's not going to be, you know, Leviathan. You know, we'll be the judges of that. They're probably going to mess things up. I don't know. I don't really understand the appeal of this ship right now. Like, okay, it beats Profundity easily. Okay, that's something, I guess. I mean, Malevolence beats Profundity too. You can do Profundity mirror matches. I was also able to beat Profundity, you know, I'd say some to most times with Executor. You know, so I guess really it depends how this thing does on defense at 7 stars. My initial testing showed that my usual counters, the Empire, whether you do Tarkin or Chimera, whether you use Negotiator, Finalizer, it was still beating this. Maybe it's going to be a little bit more difficult, potentially. So I'm not really sure what the incentive is as much for this ship, except, you know, if you have a slower Executor mirror match, this is nice, I guess. You know, again, it makes Profundity super easy. So if it maybe like completely shut down a Negotiator or Finalizer and maybe the Empire was still kind of intact, okay, that's something. But again, I think maybe it's going to really hinge on more experience, you know, with the 7-star Punishment Ones. I don't see too many in my fleet arena right now. So I'm sure eventually once the week ends, people start getting it to the 7-star for free. You know, we'll be able to have a, oh my gosh, I'm still sitting at number 5. Oh my gosh, yeah. So this thing's been holding pretty strong. I haven't done much and it's been sitting here at number 5. Wow. So yeah, it's been doing pretty well. So, you know, we just kind of got to wait and see what this ends up looking like. But yeah, most people don't have a 7-star Punishment One. So my opinion could be more solidified one way or the other, depending on, you know, me getting more 7-star Punishing Ones in front of me. But overall, I just want to reiterate, this is super embarrassing that Capital Games couldn't test out a ship. I give them maybe a little bit of slack with characters because you have like 50 different teams, right? Okay. But fleets, if you're talking Executor, there's really only 2 other lineups you got to look at, and there's not a lot of combinations. Ships is the most cookie cutter, you know, boilerplate thing. There's really nothing too unique or special theory crafting wise when it comes to ships. So nonetheless, they're leaving the Punisher One intact, but they're going to kind of buff the things that it does well against. So it's not a nerf, but it's the thing that you might have been excited for is going to be likely non-existent. My big question is too, will this affect anything in regards to the counter for Leviathan being Chimera? That we're going to have to wait and see. They could maybe make TIE Dagger be anti-breach or something, and then it's only a Punishing One interaction they're looking at rather than everything out there. So, you know, we got to wait and see, folks, but nonetheless, funny stuff out there. Funny stuff. I don't know. I guess you know, they wanted beta testers who pay for their game and also test their game at the same time. What a gig that would be. Anyways, that's gonna wrap it up, boy. A lot of chit chat in here, but nonetheless, hope you enjoyed your stay here. Looking forward to what's gonna be happening this week. Balon Skull this week, I don't know, but definitely it's happening this month one way or the other. So get ready, buckle down, relax, and always remember, until we meet again, how it's great to be in the Empire today.
Oh, it's great to be in the Empire today. The sun never sets.